Sounds like if it's urgent, then he jumped in before work.
I know, you're here. Yeah, we're here.
That's a good story.
Okay, you can.
That's okay, yeah.
We are going. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
We will now be doing Gesher Tzard Meo, and you can find it in your handout. Originally, the end of the song says that the most important part is to be brave, that the world is a narrow bridge, but the most important part is to be brave. Oh, not to be afraid. Apologies. We changed it to be brave, because in life it's okay to be afraid sometimes, as long as you can be brave in spite of that.
Is a very narrow bridge. I said the most important part is not to be afraid. The whole world is a very narrow bridge, and I said the most important part is to be brave. Kol haolam kulo
Where the Torah was given, in the wilderness, there were no flowers. But we speak of the Torah as the tree of life. That tree, planted in the wilderness at Mount Sinai, has been growing and flowering ever since. In a way, we are part of the fruit of that tree. We pray that the Torah will continue to blossom, adding beauty and wisdom to the lives of each generation. Linda Jenny Rosen, confirmation class of 1973.
Shabbat Shalom.
Sophia.
Okay. Welcome to the 12th grade confirmation Shabbat service. We are so happy to be in person with all of you and to share this service with those of us who are joining online.
We are Havurah Naftali, and we will be your service leaders this evening. We would like to introduce ourselves. Lucas Bloomking, Simon Axe,
Stix Greenberg, Maya Dillick,
Lexi Kleonsky, Lily Rose Moss-Heller,
Jonathan Dippery, Shaya Saraf,
Benjamin Thier, Benjamin Rawson,
Henrik Schrag, Gigi Ginocchio,
Amelia Ozer-Staton. I am Tobin Parkhill.
I am Sophia Paris. Confirmation is a Reform tradition that allows high school students to confirm their Jewish faith before their families and community. Part of our preparations for this evening included learning about the deep history of our congregation, this building, and the generations of Jews whose shoulders we stand upon to reach this moment.
At Emanu-El, we have a tradition of honoring the 50-year class to allow them to return to this synagogue and see what the future has brought. Tonight, we are blessed to have members of the confirmation class of 1973. We will be reading some pieces from their service throughout our time tonight. Now let's begin, and I'd like to welcome Rabbi Beth to the bima.
Shabbat Shalom to everyone. It's just so great and amazing to get to gather here together in the sanctuary and everyone who's joining us online. You know, we only just had Simchas Torah and started Genesis, and all of a sudden, this Shabbat, we're opening the book of Numbers, a story about not so much numbers, but about our journey to get to this moment in time. And we were just sitting down at our Passover Seders, and all of a sudden, we're in a period of 50 days of counting, and we're 44 days into that count toward Shavuot, the holiday of celebrating receiving the Torah. And these children, they were just born. They were just babies. They were just toddlers. They were just our preschoolers. They were our kids, our middle schoolers, our 8th graders on the 8th grade trip, our 10th graders on the 10th grade trip, our 12th graders on the 12th grade trip, and now they'll be donning cap and gown, and tonight you're leading us in this service, and we can hardly imagine how we got to this moment in time. And all we can really do is use this Shabbat to rest, to celebrate, and to stop time for a few moments as these incredible human beings who will be the future of the Jewish people lead us all in services and in celebrating Shabbat. And so we say Mazel Tov to all of you, and if you just look around to everyone around you, just say Shabbat Shalom.
We would like to invite up the Alush and Patashna families to light the Shabbat candles.
And the Garfinkel
And
family.
the Garfinkels.
Yeah.
Woo. Yeah.
Over here.
Page 2.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehaligner shel Shabbat.
So I would like to invite up Mandy and Hans, as well as the Eisendraths, up for kind of an incredible wedding blessing, because come on up. We're sitting at very powerful moments in time. So I met Mandy when I first came here as an intern, and I met Debbie when I first came here as an intern. And this Sunday, Mandy and Hans will be getting married, so they're at year 0 of their marriage. And Debbie and Stuart this Sunday are celebrating their 50th anniversary of their marriage. And so we're crossing the span of time here. And so I thought, since we have this magical moment, and we have a total success story here, if you could offer some advice of what have you learned in 50 years?
Well, I hate this. The best advice I can tell you is, I had to write it down. First of all, after 50 years, I'm still crazy nuts about this guy. I'll tell you a couple things. First of all, when I met him, I was 21.
Me too.
Yeah? I proposed when he was 22. I proposed to him. And 23, we were married. He made me laugh in the beginning of our friendship. Our friendship turned to love, and then it turned to marriage. Keep the happiness, keep the love in your heart for your husband. And after 50 years, it's gotten us through just fine.
And so I think it's auspicious when Rabbi Beth is speaking about where we are in the Jewish calendar, is that it's about Shavuot. And Shavuot, really on a really deep level, is actually about marriage. It's about the Jewish people bonding with the divine. And so what changes in there? What changes in there is that at Shavuot, we go to Sinai and we receive the Torah, which doesn't really change the nature of the universe. It gives us a way to operate in the universe, which enables us to see and to connect in ways we've never connected before. And that's really what the journey's about. That's when you say that's what got us to standing right here, and that's my hope for you too as you launch into this journey. And so as a community, we have for you these presents, and I'm going to give you the exact same one, which is The Ark, 40 members of the synagogue for 45 years here. And this is, it looks like the Ark in the main sanctuary. And as you build that home, and as you build, and you continue to build your home, the blessing that I want to give you both is that as you continue on your journey and as you launch on this journey, is one that you're both safe, that your souls are filled up, and that as you reach peak moments like you both will this Sunday, and the troughs and the peaks and the troughs and everything in between, that may you find a place of shalom, a place of wholeness, and a place of peace. Yivarechechem Adonai v'yishmerechem, Ya'er Adonai panav elechem v'chunechem, Yisa Adonai panav elechem v'yasem lechem, shalom, 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 shalom. Mazel tov.
Siman tov and mazel tov and mazel tov and siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov. Yeila
There are days when we seek things for ourselves and measure failure by what we don't gain. On Shabbat, we seek not to acquire, but to share. There are days when we exploit nature as if it were a horn of plenty that can never be exhausted. On Shabbat, we stand in wonder before the mystery of creation.
There are days when we act as if we cared nothing for the rights of others. On Shabbat, we remember that justice is our duty and a better world our goal. So we embrace Shabbat, day of rest, day of wonder, day of peace.
We are about to sing Shalom Aleichem. This prayer signals the arrival of the Sabbath, welcoming the angels who accompany a person home on the Erev Shabbat. Please join us in singing Shalom Aleichem on page 24.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei
The Barhu is the mitzvah of calling Israel to join us in prayer. We will begin this with an opening meditation that prepares us for prayer. Please rise and join us on page 28.
Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Do you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? La 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 la, la 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 la. Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Take a breath and center yourself before we start the Shema.
We continue with the Ve'ahavta on page 36.
את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננת לבביך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך Elohim Elohehem, Ani Adonai Elohehem, Asher Hossein Yetem, Meretz Mitzrayim, Liot Lachem Elohim, Ani Adonai Elohehem.
Now I'll be reading a poem I wrote accompanied by Simon on the guitar. Community. I am always asked where I feel the most at peace. Gigi, where is your home? Up atop the mountains, breath hitting the harsh winds of the morning, or down by the ocean, my throat clogged with salt and hair one with the wind, or is it somewhere else? With my feet buried in the ground, head plucked back down to earth, hands held with those I love. Where is this place you speak of? Will I forever be searching to find it, hidden deep in my own soul, or does it live in the air I breathe, in my peace, my home, my community?
Please join us on page 40 for the Mi Chamocha, and we also encourage you to do the little hand motions with us.
Yeah, bye, bye, bitty, bitty, bye, yeah, bye, bye, bitty, bye, yeah, bye, bye, bitty, bitty, bye, yeah, bye, bye, bitty, bye, bye, yeah, bye, bye, bitty, bye,
For those of us who do not wish to be leaders, organizations teach us to accept responsibility and how to respond to anything given to us by our leaders. It takes all kinds of people to keep an organization alive. Organizations must ensure that everyone benefits. A Jewish youth organization is more than just an organized system of providing interest for young people. It involves experiences between human beings, sometimes provoking much emotion and thought. This is essential in the important years of adolescence. I feel it is extremely important to continue Jewish youth organizations. Yet youth leadership can only go so far. Adults are needed, and we as the future adults of this Jewish community have a commitment to do our utmost in maintaining the success of these organizations. Judith Francis Leff, confirmation class of 1973.
The Misha Berach, Refuah Shlema, a blessing for healing, gives strength and courage to those who are ill and in need. It provides encouragement to their caregivers. It alerts our community to pursue the mitzvah of Bikor Cholim, healing the sick.
The simple words, bless those in need of healing with Refuah Shlema, the renewal of body and the renewal of spirit, call upon us to be partners with God in healing and health. Please hold in your hearts those in need of healing, mentally, physically, or spiritually at this time.
I'd now like to invite you to please say the name of any of those in your lives who are in need of healing, so that we may pray for them during this blessing.
Please join us on page 253.
Sheberach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Oh, I totally. Yeah. The Amidah is a prayer that reminds us to be grateful for our time on earth. We remember what we have done and think of what we want to do with our time in the future in hopes of making the world a better place. Please rise and join us on page 46.
Adonai sefatai tifta uviai kita hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Eloheinu v'Eloheinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov.
for silent reflection.
I have to say that I want you to know, if you can't tell, everyone in the room is kvelling and appreciating you deeply. And I want to say it's been a pleasure to get to know you for the last couple of years and to watch as you, 5 years ago at your Bar Mitzvah, became adults in the Jewish community and chose to continue to learn and wrestle as adults with Jewish ideas and concepts. First, with the complex layers of complexity of the state of Israel and the history of the Holocaust, and then with a whole set of ideas about theology and American Jewish history, and then compared those to other ideas and other religions, and that brings you to now where you are confirming that you are going to be part of this community for the rest of your lives, that this will be where you choose to celebrate your most joyous moments and where you cope with the most difficult moments. And I can tell you that probably outside of your families, there is no other person who has likely to have done more to help you on your Jewish journey in ways that you know about and in ways that you don't know about than our own Flora Kupferman. And so we want to invite Flora to come up because she is retiring after I won't say how many years. And if all of the clergy could come up and join us so that we can all give you a blessing together.
Well, Flora, we are all clergy, teachers of Torah, but you've taught us so much Torah as well in our time here. And I want you to look out and think about how you've touched people's lives in such an amazing way that your Torah keeps being carried forward. Mazel tov for reaching this moment.
I remember when I first met you. I think from there to now, and now we talk about the entire structure of the place and how it's all existed through the ups and somehow religious school through COVID, which somehow happened. But I remember back to that first meeting is that you came here because you see people. Is that it was never about the hundreds of kids, it was about each individual kid and what their soul needed, what their learning needed, and for them to grow. And it shines in all of them. Thank you.
Flora, there's a rabbinic concept called zechut, and it means merit. And it's all about how when you fulfill mitzvot, you get zechut. And you have so much zechut, you have so much merit. And a lot of it we just know from seeing you week after week. And as Rabbi Fuchs said, there's a whole merit, a zechut, from the way that you have enabled every single child to be part of this community, regardless of special needs, differences in learning. Everybody is part of it, and the zechut is on you, and that's my wish and hope for you, that you feel that merit that you have earned and blessed our community with.
And I just want to add that having gotten here 8 years ago into a system that was officiating Bar Mitzvah for about 4 times the amount of students I'd ever seen. There's a stereotype that they talk about in the seminary. When it's that big, it becomes a factory. And I showed up here wondering, is it going to be a factory? And then I met you. You didn't just teach these students, Flora. You taught me. You taught the teachers. And in honor of our teachers, in honor of you as a teacher, Cantor Etty and I want to just sing a little blessing that was composed by our teacher, Debbie Friedman, in your honor. For our teachers and the students and the students of the students.
May they be blessed. May they be blessed with loving kindness, with loving kindness here and everywhere,
here and everywhere. And let us say, Amen. We ask for peace and loving kindness, and let us say, Amen. We ask for peace and loving kindness, and let us say, Amen. We ask for peace and loving kindness, and let us say, Amen. We ask for peace and loving kindness, and let us say, Amen.
We're going to teach you to clap on the 2 and 4. We really, really are. We're going to get there. And Flora, thank you so much. You bring such love to your work here. It's a combination of love and skill and clarity, and we're just so grateful to you. And we know you won't be too far, and you'll be celebrating with your family and your grandchildren, but we'll still see you here. Yeah. Yeah.
So to quote the great Rabbi Beth, we are in Ba Midbar. We are in the wilderness. And early on when I lived in Israel, I was taught this incredible midrash about the opening word there, Ba Midbar, which means Ba in, Midbar is the wilderness. But the Torah, it has no vowels. So we're kind of guessing that it's Midbar. Because you can take those exact same consonants that exist there in the Torah, and it's also medaber, which means to speak, which is odd. because you kind of go out into this nothingness, and it's where we actually learn to speak. It's where we find our voice. So this 12th grader is sitting in front of you. You're all very odd. We talk about among rabbis nationally, well, what are the rates? What are the bar mitzvah rates? What happens after 8th grade? And then there's this little tiny odd group. Our synagogue is not so small. We actually have a fairly high percentage, but that actually make it to this point that are fully adults at this point and that have continued to study. And you're now launching into this new part of your life. And in some respects, you could say you're heading off into Bamidbar. You're kind of heading off into the wilderness, the end of this section of your childhood and the beginning of real independence adults. And so my hope for all of you, and the rabbi's hope for all of you, is that as you move into this next chapter, is that you realize this was actually just the beginning. The story didn't end there when the sea opened. It actually was where we began. We began at Sinai, and Sinai wasn't the end. That was just, here's the text, now try to figure it out. And so wherever you're going in the country, take Jewish study classes, at least one. Okay, that's why we gave you that Tanakh at your B'nai Mitzvah, was you can use that, it just saves some money on a textbook. And so with that, I would like to invite up Benny to share his thoughts with us.
Hi, everyone, and good Shabbos. As I stand on this bima looking out at all of you and at the sanctuary and Emanu-El as a whole, so many memories come flooding in for me. My Emanu-El journey started with Rabbi Pierce when I was 8 days old, and I've been here ever since. I remember sitting right there on Friday night services as my dad played piano at Shabbat alongside Cantor Addy when I was 5, And I remember walking through the main sanctuary with my preschool class, shout out Turquoise Room, looking up at the stained glass in the super high balconies that looked a lot bigger when I was a lot smaller then. I remember Rosh Hashanahs, the fountain overflowing with apples, and the festival dinner, eating chopped liver on the Rabbi Singer's roof. I remember starting Yom Kippur fasts during Kol Nidre in the main sanctuary and ending them in the courtyard. I can think back to an awesome Simchat Torah where we stayed late with Rabbi Mintz to watch the Giants pull off an amazing playoff win. I remember sitting with my dad in a parking lot waiting for one of my sister's dance performances when Rabbi Bauer came up to our window and offered us some brisket that he'd made the night before. These are just some of the examples of the community that I've experienced at Emanu-El. And some of my favorite events were the talks right after the main service on Yom Kippur, watching Mayor Breed speak about homelessness as we all sat fasting in Guild Hall, watching Rabbi Bauer talk to Dr. Ibram X. Kendi about the ideas of anti-racism over Zoom. And while the 7th grade Shabbatones at Camp Newman were fun, it was the things like the 8th grade trip to LA, and even more broadly, the temple's commitment to social justice that have left an imprint on me. I'm so lucky to have this wealth of memories, but really, there's so much more than just snapshots that I can recall. This temple is the place where I made some of my first friends. It is where I learned about my culture, my tradition, and where I was able to become a part of that as I was bar mitzvahed right here where I'm standing almost 5 years ago. On this day, all of us up here are confirming our commitment to Judaism as we move on to the next chapters in our lives and assume new roles in our Jewish community, wherever that may be. I can't imagine what that would look like for me without Emanu-El. The culmination of all of my experiences here are what makes me Jewish. The conversations I've had and lessons I've learned are why I continue my journey of Judaism into the future. 5 years ago, I ended my Devar Torah by saying, when we become the helping hand that guides the world in a more moral direction, that is when we begin speaking the blessings into the world through our being. I still believe that that's what it means to be Jewish. And I will not stop doing my part in speaking all the blessings that I've gotten from Emanu-El back into the world. I love and appreciate all of you so much. Shabbat Shalom.
I am Jewish because I try not to take things at face value, and I like to question everything and look at many sides before coming to a judgment.
Hallelujah. I am Jewish because of my family and community.
Hallelujah. I am Jewish for my ancestors that were not allowed to practice Judaism.
Hallelujah.
I'm Jewish because of this Jewish community.
I'm Jewish because I want to connect with my heritage.
I am Jewish because of the person Judaism has made me.
I am Jewish because I wrestle.
I'm Jewish because it's an important part of my life.
I'm Jewish because I feel connected to my community and spirituality.
I am Jewish because this community has become my family.
I'm Jewish because it's my birthright and it's something I want to give on to the rest of my family later on.
I am Jewish because I love the community it connects me to.
I am Jewish because this synagogue is my second home.
I am Jewish because I feel connected to my Jewish heritage and I love spending time with the Jewish community.
I'm Jewish because I wouldn't be who I am without this tradition and community.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
My name's Ariana Estoque. I'm the Director of Member Experience here at Congregation Emanu-El, and I have given myself the right to help work with these students towards confirmation. This fills my soul. They fill my soul, and it's a pleasure to be here and pass on this legacy.
I'm Tori Starks, and I'm the Teen Programs Manager here at Emanu-El, and I am honored to be standing here with these 15 young people who some of them I've known since they were just teeny tiny, and my heart is so full just seeing them lead our community in prayer, and I can't wait for the next step in your journey.
So we are here to confirm them. They confirmed themselves in this beautiful song, and part of the Emanu-El legacy is the chain of tradition. And we, as you have heard, have a long history. Tori and I were both confirmed in this community, and there are many people in this room who have come before us. So we would like to welcome up Ulrika Schrag, Abra Protashner, Flora Kupferman.
And Rory,
Oh,
too.
yeah. And
Rory,
future
too.
confirmand Rory. Love this.
We represent the confirmation classes of years past. We are symbolic of the chain of tradition in our Jewish heritage.
Which one am I? Now we pass the Torah, its sacred privilege and responsibilities to you, the members of this year's class.
You are now the next link in this chain of tradition.
Okay, and now the new class will repeat after us the watchword of our faith, the Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one.
By accepting the Torah today, we are committing ourselves to the practices and beliefs of Judaism.
We are not simply receiving an ancient scroll inscribed with ancient laws, rather we are receiving the key to our adult lives. We are proud to form one more link in the chain of tradition.
And we all say Mazal Tov. Excellent. So in another 50 years, this class will be brought back to welcome the future classes. We have many gifts to bestow upon them, which they will receive later. And I just have hope and faith in our future that this is the future of the Jewish people. And you guys make me really proud, I have to say. So Mazal Tov, and thank you.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Well, we get to give you the blessing of the Torah, of the priests, of the tradition of carrying forward with wonder.
יברכך אדוני וישמרך.
May God always bless you and on all of your journeys keep you safe and keep you whole.
יישא אדוני פניו אליך ויחונך.
Just as we all can see that holy light shining in you and through you, may you always feel that spirit, that great light leading you forward.
יישא אדוני פניו אליך וישם לך שלום.
God's Punim, the face of holiness, is always there when you look for it. And as you're looking and you're wandering your life, both in times of blessing and times of challenge, look in the mirror, and that face of holiness is looking right back at you. Mazel tov. Please be seated.
As we have enjoyed these services, you will note that they do not differ very much from those in which our older brothers and sisters participated. And if you will hearken to the days of your confirmation, the thought will have crossed your mind that there is nothing new under the sun in the affirmation of faith. Perhaps the time, place, and dress are different, with longer hair or shorter hair, but you will recognize and revel in the same basic confirmation idea.
Parents, you have set high standards, and though we have tried to live up to these standards, I am sure you will recall there have been times for you and for us when there have been stresses and strains. We have the comfort of knowing, however, that our memories of the difficult times will be less, and the moment when we have justified your pride will be bright, and you can truly say that they were good kids. Our foundation has been good through our teachers, our clergy, and our parents. Our interest is confirmed by the fact that we are standing here seeking recognition of this congregation as this year's confirmation class. Kirk Daniel Denenbaum, confirmation class of 1973.
Each person has a Torah, unique to that person, their innermost teaching. Some seem to know their Torahs very early in life and speak and sing them in a myriad of ways. Others spend their whole lives stammering, shaping, and rehearsing them. Some are long, some short. Some are intricate and poetic. Others are only but a few words. And still others can only be spoken through gesture and example. But every soul has a Torah. To hear another say Torah is a precious gift. For each soul, by the time of their final hour, the Torah is complete, the teaching done. Rabbi Lawrence Kushner. I'd now like to invite Rabbi Jonathan up to the bima.
We get ready to say Kaddish, to think of those who came before. And our hearts go out to the families in the midst of Shloshim, the month of deep loss and recent loss of memory of loved ones, as they mourn Joseph Lorenzen, Peter Podolsky, Don Chaikin, Rose Ewing Goldman. And it's also the art side, the anniversary of the passing of these loved ones. May their memory be for a blessing and keep guiding us in our lives as we honor the memory of Abraham Amanoff, Jack Bassick, Vivian Berger, Rosalind Block, Charles Bloom, Anna Weissman-Braun, Josephine Steiner Breslar, Susan Brockstein, Claire Brummer, Jack Booter, Charlotte Chafin, Manuel S. Fisher, Alan Friedman, Daniel Goldberg, William Jack Haas, Irvin Hanscher, Abraham Heim, Anne Juniver Henselin, Ken Kramerus, Benjamin Kepnes, Benjamin Crames, Milton Leeds, R. Norman Lehman, Vera Lehrer, Benjamin Lehrhaupt, Robert Levy, Carlton Little, Walter Mack, Len Manterer, Claire Hyman Moses, Ruth Portnoy, Alex Price, Ann Quadri, Barbara S. Rogers, Dorothea Romanoff, Benjamin Rothenberg, Gershon Rubin, Leah San, Peggy Rippey Salkin, Sarah B. Sankowicz, Celia Sally Sassoon, Maya Krim Schwartz, Ellie Seal, Marvin Silverman, Betty Slaminsky, Millard C. Tonkin, Henry C. Weinstein, Annie Wenner, Sidney Wexler, Marge Wolfe, and J. Ann Friedman from the 1973 confirmation class.
Please rise if you've lost someone in the last 7 days.
Please rise if you have lost someone in the last 30 days.
Please rise if you are observing yahrzeit.
Please rise if you have lost someone in the last. Oh yeah. Please rise if you are observing a yard. What? Yeah. Yeah.
As we look around this room and acknowledge the pain of our community, we all rise in support and say these ancient words on page 294.
Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu b'shalom, l'shalom. Le'amideinu shomreinu le'chayim. Fros aleinu sukkah shlomecha, fros aleinu sukkah shlomecha. Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning tide. Teach us daily wrong from right, O Adonai.
Can we please invite Julian and Ian up? And Ollie.
קידשנו במצוותיו ורצבנו ושבת קודשו באהבה רצוננו זיכרון למעשה בראשית כי הוא יום תהילה למקראי קודש זכר ליציאת מצרים קיוונו בהרתה ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים ושבת קודשך באהבה ורצון הנהלתנו ברוך אתה אדוני מחדש השבת.
Take a big drink.
Thank you very much.
Well, as we stay up here on the beam, stay for a moment. Take a breath, everyone. And we see all kinds of problems in the world, but take a moment to see the wonder and the blessing in our lives. You saw someone get blessed in the service to start a new life as a family. You saw somebody celebrate their 50th anniversary. You saw people come and teach and lead, get ready for a bar mitzvah. You see each of you in this room finding support or connection or praying for health and wonder and blessing. And it's just such a wonder to be around each other and in this moment. Adonai Eloheinu ten bracha aleinu, eternal God, keep sharing your blessing with us, with this community, with all your creation. Let us remember, as it's taught in the Parsha this week in Bamidbar, that as we go forward in the wilderness of our lives, we can put Torah, we can put the holiness at the center, just as our ancestors did. And when we put it at the center, this sense of holiness and wonder, we can go forward and see that we can be your partner and be a blessing for the good, for the future, for the hope. Be with these young people as they go forward. Be with us and be with their parents as they're a little bit wondering where somebody is out, not in their room anymore next year, and they're a little homesick for their child. Be with them too. And let us all say, Amen, amen. So we're going to have a motzi in just a moment, and then the confirmands are staying up here, and their families are staying on in the room as well. And the rest of you can go have a little kiddush outside. But let's join with the class.
Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lehem mi'haaretz. Amen.
Shabbat shalom. Woo!
The biggest mitzvah in Reform Judaism, please bring your prayer books back to the prayer book cart. Thank you so much, everyone. Shabbat shalom, everyone.